Hi, this is Craig David, and welcome to my brand new album, Born to Do It. First of all, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I was born in Southampton on the 5th of May 1981 in Southampton Hospital. And I've lived with my mum for 18 years. And I'm going to add one more year because I'm 19 now. Hey. To tell you a little bit about myself, really, my musical influences stem back from listening to my mum's collection of Terence Trent D'Arby CDs, which she was a massive fan of, and my dad's influences from his lovers rock and reggae collection. And I guess listening to all that kind of music kind of inspired me to listen to R&B, hip-hop, and then moving on to really the two-step garage and the drum and bass, which is kind of like the nowadays contemporary music. Well, my dad was in a group called Ebony Rockers that was signed to EMI, and I was so young at the time that I didn't actually go to any of the concerts or really know that he was in a group, but he told me about all the stories and all the great gigs he did. So I guess it's my dad's influences on the guitar side that helped me to go and have guitar lessons, the flamenco classical guitar, which has helped me when you listen to my album. It's got a lot of that Spanish guitar throughout the tracks, so it's kind of been a good influence. I started going to clubs when I was 14. And you must probably be thinking, well, how did you get into a club at 14? Well, what it was is that my dad was the chairman of a community club which I used to go to, and because he was the chairman, he'd let me stay on till a little bit later on. And there was this one time when a DJ was playing, and the crowd were kind of dancing, but there was no real relation between the DJ and the crowd. And I kind of ran up there as a 14-year-old, energetic, all this stuff I've been thinking about what I'd like to do at home. I picked up the microphone, and I just started to MC and to draw the crowd into what the DJ was doing. And from that point, I think I found a good relationship with the DJ, and he was like, oh, you got some skills, and let's go and do some residencies together. I started writing songs when I was about 15, and the first real song that I'd written was a track called Freaking You, which I think I got a lot of inspiration off the Jodeci album, which was Freak You, the track. So I think I'd taken a lot of the lines from that. So I kind of was like developing my style. And then DJ Flash's sister gave me a CD, a damaged CD, which had a competition to write a song. And if your song was chosen, then it would be put on their next single and be put as a B-side. So I was kind of like, oh yeah, I'll do that. I've got all the time in the world. I'm only 15. And my mum was like, well, Craig, you've got to do it today or you're not going to make the entry. So I was like, okay. So I sat down for 3 hours. I wrote a track called I'm Ready and sent it in, didn't think anything of it. 2 weeks passed, got a phone call. Hi, Craig, congratulations, you've won the competition. I was like, can't believe it. You know what I mean? Damage were the in thing. They were massive. And they asked me to come down to the studio, watch them record it, allow me to do a small part in the chorus, which is layered under so many vocals that you don't really know it's there, but I know it's there. And it went on their Wonderful Tonight track, which was the Eric Clapton cover, which went to number 3, and I was like blown away. I'm Ready at number 3 as well, so it's cool. Well, after I'm Ready, it kind of all fell into place with me carrying on with my MCing and DJing. And at around the same time, I was offered a slot on a pirate radio station, which gave me the chance to have my own show. They said, what time do you want to have? And I got myself prime time. And I really took a professional look on my show because I wanted to do something that the people could actually tune in and think that it was quality. And at the same time, we were getting a lot more residencies and bookings. And it kind of led to me one day DJing in this club called Juice in Southampton. And I was playing like an R&B hip-hop set downstairs. And Mark Hill from the Artful Dodger was playing a speed garage set upstairs. The promoter introduced us to each other. And Mark was like, oh, I heard you gone in for a damaged competition, you won, congratulations. Heard you writing all these songs. And I was like, yeah, I've got all these songs, but I'm looking for someone who can put backing tracks around them. He's like, hey, I can do that, I've got a studio and everything. So he said, come down to the studio and let's work together. So I started to write with Mark, and we started a whole catalogue of songs. And it started like a flourishing relationship between me and Mark, which kind of set it all up for the Artful Dodger. When I was young, it was quite mad for me to be going out and doing PAs on the weekend, and 1 minute going to school on the Monday for the whole week, and then I was out on the weekend, then I'd be doing some kind of DJing here, some kind of mixtape, doing this. So I was always like, had passion for music. But what I tried to do, because I had a lot of friends, I always tried to hook them up to come to the clubs that I was doing. Sometimes I had to ask for a few lifts here and there, so I remember those people. And for me, it was a nice vibe because we all could go out to the clubs, get in free, enjoy ourselves. And I'd actually be getting paid as well for doing my singing, which was cool. And at the age of like 15, 16, the money that I was getting paid was like a lot of money for me. Kind of saved me from having to do a newspaper round, so I was okay. But my friends have been really supportive. I mean, I think that's the great thing about it, is that you find who your real friends are along the way. And the friends that I had back in the day that were there close are still the same friends I've got now. I think I was 16 when we released the first single, which was more of like an underground release. We put it on a white label, and the track was entitled What You're Gonna Do. And it was kind of a blend of R&B and two-step garage. And because we were from Southampton, we were kind of outsiders to the whole scene, because London was where it was at. And we put out the track, and it started to cause a real fuss and hype in London. We were like, can't believe it. I mean, we're all the way out in Southampton. We shouldn't be doing this. And I think it was because we were from Southampton and we were outsiders that we had a different twist and a different look on how music should be presented. But everything really took off when we recorded Rewind, which was in a small studio in a basement in Southampton in a place called Ocean Village. And it's such a nice marina. So whenever we got a little bit hectic in the studio, it was like, oh, come on, let's go out for some fresh air. You could go out, chill out by the water. It's such a nice environment. But we started to record Rewind, and we kind of got the vibe. We wanted to have a track that could show off R&B music and the fusion of dance music, but not have to be one or the other. It could show both. And we started to lay down a drum pattern. And I was in the studio just starting to sing a melody line from another track I'd written with Mark called Last Night. And what we started to get was, it was starting to marry with the backing track. I was thinking, Craig, stop this, do you know what I mean? You've already got a backing track around this. And we thought, okay, so what we'll do is we'll lay some of the melody down from Last Night on this, change up the lyrics, have a brand new chorus, and then build a track around that. So we started to write Rewind, started to put it all down, laid the vocals, and the next thing on the screen came up End of File. And when End of File comes up, it's not a good thing. So when you click on it, you kind of click OK, and it keeps on coming up, and it shows every single piece of audio you've put onto the screen. It comes up End of File. And it got to the end of it that we looked back at the sequence and there was no audio there at all, and it wiped clean the whole thing. So Rewind had rewound. So what we had to do, we had to refer back to a tape that we'd actually recorded of it, for us to like take it back to my house to have a listen to it, to see how it sounded on my stereo. We used to do that on a lot of my tracks. Because my stereo at home, I kind of customised it, so when you turned it up, it really rocked. So we go there, check it out, then go back and try and touch it up. So I had this tape, and we had to like refer to that and get all the sounds back again and lay the whole thing down again, which was like a long, long, hard effort. But I think now I don't regret it, because, I mean, who knows? It may never have ever got to number 2. Well, we put out the track around February, early March time, and we really just put it out there to kind of test the water to see how it would do. And it picked up a great vibe from the clubs. But there was a lot of criticism to how the breakdown was like too slow. There's too many breakdowns. People were going to stop dancing. The boink and the crazy effects were like, you can't have that. It just sounds really corny. But me and Mark were like, held our ground and said, hey, this is how we really want it to sound. And it got licensed to a record label. And for me, it was like, I can't believe this. It may have the same success that What You're Gonna Do had. Because for us, the small success it did have was like amazing. For us outsiders from Southampton, you know. And so I guess with Rewind being licensed to like a big company, we thought, hey, this could really go into the charts. No chart positions, just in the charts. 75 would have been great for us. So we carried on working really hard, and then we started to get a lot of interest from the mainstream stations. It was getting a lot of heavy rotation. Next thing, release date in November. Bam, straight in, number 2, right behind Cliff Richard. And a lot of people were like, well, are you bitter that you're behind Cliff? And I was like, how can I be bitter? I mean, this guy's had so many hits, and we're behind him. So for me, it was great to be signed to a record label. At the same time, I got a publishing deal for my songwriting, which was excellent. And I was like, hey, I've got a publishing deal, record deal. It's time to really start working hard now. We were geared up with Filmy, and we kind of put out a few white labels again to the clubs, because I think it's so important for me being a DJ that the clubs are feeling the track, because it's always from urban that a track will kind of blow up outside. So we pushed the track. We had a release date. I think it was April 6th. And we put it out and it was like, and Craig David, it's a brand new entry. New entry, number 1. I could not believe it. I mean, number 2 with The Artful Dodger, my first solo single, which was only supposed to be a set-up record. It was supposed to be awareness for me. And it went straight in at number 1. I was like, I can't believe this. But just before that, I mean, the video that we'd done, it was the first time I'd actually been in a video. And to actually have the pirate radio station, which was part of my youth, and to actually do some role play, just to do a video for 2 days was just great. So it was like all of that, having it on the box, MTV, all these big playlists on music stations, radio stations were playing it to death, and going straight into number 1. I was like, I'm on top of the world. And I think the funny thing was going back into my bedroom, having written the song there in the 4 walls, same posters on the wall, going back and thinking, Craig, you're number 1 in the UK. And I think no one can ever take that feeling away from me. It's just, I think I'm still on that little, do you know what I mean, that dream thing. Since Fill Me In, I've done so many amazing things. I mean, really going out and being able to perform to crowds. I mean, I went back to Southampton to perform at Power in the Park, which was actually the irony of it was that Damage were performing there. And it was just mad. I mean, the crowd were going wild. My hometown, all these banners. Craig, can you film me? And it's like, oh gosh. So it was superb. That was absolutely wicked. And then it kind of moved on to me going on doing the big Hyde Park party in the park in front of 100,000 people. And a lot of people go, oh Craig, you must have some nerves. You're about to perform the biggest crowd ever in your career. And I'm like, I'm not really. It's like when I'm on the stage, I feel like so comfortable. I feel at home. It's when you build up, it's the anxiety when you just want to get on there and do your thing. When I was on stage, I couldn't believe it. You looked out, it's like a sea of heads. And that was just an amazing feeling. And I think, for me, going out and performing to the crowds is like what the music industry is about. And I think words can't describe how you feel when you do those kind of things. And I'm just blown away by it, do you know what I mean? It's all been mad. After the release, it was a case of what was going to be the next stage, the next single for Craig David, but also promoting Fill Me In outside the UK. So it was like my first chance to visit all these countries I'd never ever been to. And we went to Germany, France, and Ibiza was a great one actually. I've met so many people that I've admired. I mean, from Donald Jones, who's someone that I was playing his music when I was DJing out in the clubs, bought his album, so to meet him was superb. Britney Spears, I mean, that was mad. I mean, the persona around meeting her, I was thinking, I can't believe it. Tell me, Britney Spears, people would pay millions to be here what I'm doing. I mean, there's people in the UK that still, when I sit down and I think, oh, I'm in the same room as there's Richard Blackwood that I'd see on TV all the time. Out of all of them, I think the nicest thing that's ever been said to me was when I was at Helper London Child Awards, which I actually won Best Newcomer, which was fantastic. Robbie Williams came over to me and he said, Craig, I don't usually go out and buy singles. I don't buy them at all, really. But I went out and bought yours because I really, really like it. And I thought, Robbie Williams telling me this. But the one thing I've really got going for myself, I think, is that I'm very focused. And I realise that a lot of things around you can be very surreal and never get caught up in all the other people. Make sure that your music's on point and it'll follow through for you, do you know what I mean? Well, the brand new album is entitled Born to Do It. And I got the title, one, from, I feel that everybody in life is born to do something. Be it that you're a sportsman or a presenter, and in my case, a singer-songwriter. And I feel that I was born to write and produce this album. And on the other side, my favourite film is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And there's a sketch where the boy runs into the candy shop and asks the Candyman, how does he do it? And the Candyman replies with, my dear boy, do you ask a bird how it flies? The boy says, no. Do you ask a fish how it swims? The boy goes, no. He says, no, sirree, you don't. They do it because they were born to do it. And I was like, it sums it up for me. So I kind of put together the title from one being my favourite film and the morals of it. And really, the whole album is going to surprise people because I think it's very diverse in the sense it shows all of my influences. And if you've only heard Fill Me In 7 days, then you're going to actually hear the other side of Craig David. I mean, you've got a track entitled Walking Away, which really shows how someone can be in a situation that they're trying to control and do their best in, but they get to the point where they have to say, I've got to walk away from this. And in Walking Away, I'm Craig David, and my girlfriend doesn't understand that my lifestyle is around singing songs and there may be some female attention. She's getting very jealous because her friends are telling her, oh, he's cheating on you, do you know what I mean? You should watch yourself. And she keeps on coming to me and asking me what I'm doing and not trusting me. And I'm like, well, you're the girl for me and I want to be with you. You just got to realise this is what I do. And it gets to the point where she still doesn't believe me, listens to her friends, and I say, hey, I've got to call it a day. I'm walking away to find a better day. And I think the moral's kind of across the board, because it's not just that I'm walking away from a relationship, but you could be walking away from your family, finding your independence, getting your own home, walking away from a job to find a better job. So it's like just walking away. So moving on, there's a track entitled Booty Man, which is another track which is an influence from when I was in the clubs, DJ and MC, and I'd see the guys how they'd be certain guys with really smooth talkers, and with the women they just had a way. I don't know what it was. And they had all the lyrics, they just knew their styles. They had it going on. And I thought it'd be cool to kind of write a track about the guys that were really hot and call them booty men. Well, if I had to say I had a favourite track on the album, it'd have to be Fill Me In. I mean, for me, it's one of the best lyrically written songs I've done, because the choruses all relate to what I've said in the verses. And it has the fusion of R&B and two-step garage. So you can kind of chill back in your chair and relax to it, or you can get up and dance. And I think it's so nice to have the two sides of genres of music in one. And the lyrics for me, it's like creeping around the girlfriend's house, living on the edge, a bit dangerous. And Craig David, again, hasn't got caught. As much as the lyrics in my song suggest that Craig David's like the ladies' man, he's the smooth talker, I'd say there's a side of Craig David that is like that. But on the other side, I think it was important for me to lay down songs that could really show the last 19 years of Craig David. But like for the next album, I'm definitely going to talk about performing to like hundreds of thousands of people and TV interviews. So it's all about talking about what you've actually been through. To write a song, sometimes it's spontaneous. My thoughts, I'm going through a situation, it's like, I'll put this down. What am I'm doing at the moment? It's like, it's great for a song. Maybe looking out my window and it's raining and I see someone having an argument with their girlfriend. It's like, I've got to write about this. So for me, it can be spontaneous, or sometimes I think back and think, well, what things would be interesting to write about? And I think back of experiences I've had. But the way I'll actually write a song is I'll sit down, I'll get my dictaphone out, flip open my laptop, hook it all up into my system so I can actually turn it up if I need to. And I just play a melody line around in my head. 6 o'clock in the morning, wipe the sleep from my eyes. Felt just like an ordinary day. Just around the corner, such a surprise. A beautiful angel materialized. Time stood still, face to face. I'm sure we met in another time and place. Which was kind of like ended up into Rendezvous, you know? And then I try and lace the melody around the beat. So you have something like dum 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 dum. So you have something like that going on, which is cool, and then you kind of build it all around, you put your harmonies in, and you flow and you build a track. So there you go, hey presto, that's how you write Craig David's song. For me, there's so many different tracks on the album for different moods. I mean, you've got Time to Party, which is a straight-up club-based party track. It's really saying, let your hair down, it's been a long week, get on the dance floor and enjoy yourself, and put your hands where my eyes can see. And if you're the type of person to kind of sit back and think, well, I'm mad with my relationship, do you know what I mean? It's not happened, I've broken up with my girlfriend or boyfriend. The track entitled You Know What kind of sums it up. It's like, well, I'm with this girl and you know what happens, do you know what I mean? It breaks up, she goes off with someone else, I'm left dumped again, and I feel thoroughly sick about it, do you know what I mean? But I think if you want a track that's going to really get you going and to feel a bit more vibrant, it's a track entitled Can't Be Messing Around, which really suggests that you can't be messing around with your partner. Do you know what I mean? There's other people that are trying to say, oh, would you go out with me, or do you want to come around to my place? Like, no, got my partner, can't be messing around. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Come and let me hit it again. Come and let me sing it again. Can't pretend, can't be messing around with my girlfriend. And if there was a track to chill out to, I'd say it'd have to be Once in a Lifetime, which is a song that sums up that Everybody can find someone that's like their once-in-a-lifetime dream. You only have an experience once in a lifetime. And finally, if there's one thing I'd like to say to you who've gone out and bought this album, is that I hope that you enjoy it the same way that I enjoyed actually sitting down and writing it and recording it. And also you can think about all the different things you've been through and relate to my songs and say, hey, I can remember when I was creeping around my girlfriend's house or boyfriend's house. So just sit back, enjoy my album, and thank you for going out and buying it.